Good morning. Oh, I'm losing my voice a bit. There's this really nasty virus going around, and I am patient zero, um, meaning that nobody else in my household has gotten sick yet except for me. Anyway, it's not sunny. It's actually raining outside, which is good because then we don't have to water the grass. Good morning, everyone. Um, Nice to talk to you again. This week, I want to talk about something again that's going on in my practice and reflect on what I'm doing, where I'm going, and how things are all coming together, so to speak. But, anyways, um, it is a Wednesday morning. It's about 9:30. It's June. Let me check. June the 13th. Okay, feels like June the 13th. Today I want to talk about termination and ending a client relationship. Sometimes you call it termination. Sometimes it's called ending. In a medical model, it's called discharging, letting go. Sometimes it can feel like breaking up with someone, although it's totally not the same dynamic. But when you work with people for years, such as I have, it can be hard, right? It's definitely hard for patients, and it's something that you go through together, but it can be hard for counselors or therapists as well. So I have a bittersweet story. In recent weeks, I was given an offer of a really great opportunity, and so I chose to change my role a bit in the community. And so I'm ending working in interprofessional collaborative settings, so working in clinics, and I'm going to be transitioning to working in more of a supervisory capacity. So I'm really excited about that, and I hope that it will aid in my own professional development in terms of how best to support counselors and therapists, and also I'll learn about how to structure my approach to more of a community setting, which is where I'm going. So I'm shifting from so I certainly still have my private practice, but I'm shifting my other sort of role from working in clinics with physicians and nurses and other allied health to now working in community mental health, which is kind of where I started out from. So, anyways, I've been having relationships with clients of doctors, patients off and on for several years now, and I've had some patients that I've seen off and on for several years, and now I've had to tell them in recent weeks that I'm going to be leaving, I'm going to be transitioning, and I'm no longer going to be able to provide support and to be their therapist. And so um, while, I'm excited about new opportunities, it's also sad to end, professional relationships. And so I kind of just wanted to reflect on that and to reflect on kind of some of my experiences with termination. So termination, when I have had I'm going through final sessions with patients. And what we kind of do is obviously before we have the final session, we set it up. So I would never, attend a session and say to a patient, particularly if I've worked with them for years, that, oh, okay, all of a sudden this is going to be your last session. See you later. Have fun. Good luck. So what I did was I made sure that as soon as I had made the decision to leave my clinic practice, that I inform my patients. So what I did was I called the longer term ones. I let them know what was happening. I confirmed our follow-up appointment scheduled, or if there wasn't one, I offered one to come in and do an ending session. And I had, a lot of great support, and I had some people that were very upset, and, they didn't want me to leave, and that's understandable, right? That's okay. And I made sure to, to assert that, that, that's very important. I appreciate the feedback, and that there's going to be other resources coming in as well, that it's not that me leaving means that there's not going to be the service there anymore. So anyway, not my role to know who's coming to replace me, but being able to provide that reassurance as well was helpful to them. So, you set up the final session, you don't spring it on them at the last minute. So once going into the final session, it's important to kind of reflect on what was the work that was done. How long was the relationship? What was the progression that occurred? What was the patterns of experiences that they had? And then just talk about what was helpful and look at what is needed in the future. So I was able to kind of go back through each patient's charts with them and say, oh my goodness, I can't believe that we've been meeting off and on for 6 years or 7 years, or did you know that we've had 60 some odd sessions over the years? That, just talk about, how committed they were to either chronic disease management or to therapy, whatever the approach was with that particular patient. And then also looking at, where they've gone. And this past couple weeks has solidified for me that whatever type of support, it works. So whether you're doing chronic disease management, case management, counseling, or traditional psychotherapy using a treatment module or approach, that there always is that progression. There's something that you can see. And even though they might not be cured, so to speak, there's been great change. And I don't think you would necessarily see that as much in a brief model as what you'd seen in a long-term approach. So certainly, I work with clients in a brief model, but over long periods of time, you don't see the change quite. It doesn't hit you in the face, I guess, until you look back and reflect on what's gone on over the years. So I guess I'm making a case for long-term practice as being something that's essential, particularly with people with complex conditions. And just having that continuity of care, having that person that's there essentially working similarly to the family doctor, right? The family doctor doesn't discharge a patient, but or fire a patient unless there's, very severe circumstances. But the family doctor is there for the patient to always to follow up if they need to, if they have a question, if they have a medical issue, to be that constant for them. And I think that my role in the clinic there was similar. So I received some great feedback. Nothing that I was really, I feel like I can't take credit for it because it's such a collaborative relationship that I really often feel like, I don't know if I did anything other than just provide a holding space, which I guess is a lot, right? For some people who don't necessarily have that support or a safe space to kind of sort out their problems. So that's how I did termination. So if I were to summarize that, setting up the session ahead of time, saying this is going to be our last session so that the patient or the client can reflect on, prepare themselves mentally for the final session. Go through a summary of the progress, and then have opportunity to reflect. So certainly I was able to reflect on my experience working with individuals, and I offered them the opportunity to reflect on their experience working with me, and to look at what has been helpful and maybe what could be improved as well. And then also ending with, is any more support needed? So do you need to bridge that person to another therapist or counselor, or refer them to a community program, or for a psychiatric assessment if if there's a crisis issue and potentially the person needs more mental health supports. Um, yeah, so that's the process that I've gone through intuitively with termination. Certainly, I've read about it, and I've gone through termination before. Obviously, when I transitioned into the role that I am transitioning out from now. Um, but I just wanted to kind of reflect on that and to say that it's been a very heavy few weeks, but I see that I'm coming out on the other side. I know I've said that before. And that I'm really looking forward to this new opportunity and seeing, where my professional uh, journey is going to take me to next. Um, I'm still available in private practice. I still am providing support to counselors and therapists within private practice, either in this wonderful home office or through a virtual online platform that is secure. Um, and yeah, so that is what has been happening in my life in recent weeks. So I'll keep you updated, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. If you're interested in any resources on termination and kind of the process for going through ending with a client, certainly I've got resources I can forward to you. Anyways, happy day. Have a good one. Take care.